So this video is going to take us through 7.1, reviewing the dimensioning styles that we've talked about. I want to point out the dimensioning guidelines right here, great resource, the 16 rules that we talked about for how and when to place the dimensions, making sure you're not placing dimensions twice, putting dimensions in between the views where they're supposed to be, not around the outside, not dimensioning hidden lines. All those great rules basically boils down to put it on the view that shows it best and don't dimension things twice. Everything else, like avoid dimensioning to hidden lines, we should avoid dimensioning to hidden lines, but there are some exceptions, and I'll show you one right now. Again, if you don't remember what datum or chain dimensioning is, the dimensioning styles PowerPoint resource is here for you to go through and watch that. The view that I'm going to be doing is this one here, which goes into 1 centimeter. It's asking for coordinate and datum dimensioning, and it doesn't really say aligned or anything else, but I'm going to show you a few of those things as well. So let's jump over to Inventor. You see I've got my part already made. That's what it should look like, but I'm going to restart it with a base view. So here's my base view. Move this out of the way. Clicking in each corner and then hit OK. If the front view isn't good, make sure you fix that first. Like this wouldn't be a very good front view because I'm looking at the back. You know, depending on how you drew it, sometimes people draw things with the front view facing the right, but it always brings it in with the front facing the front. So I like to start my drawings with the front being the front. Try to think about when I go to make my sheet, what's going to be a good front view and placing that on the front, but that's something that you need to think about when you're actually making the part. Some people click on the right side to start. So my front view is good. Now I can come over to the Annotate tab. This asks for a baseline dimensioning. Always start with a vertical line whenever possible on the outside, and you'll see that when I do that, I'm able to get some good lines. So I'm going to right click, hit continue, click to place my dimensions, and it's very important that I hit right click and create right now, because you'll see, this is my second time doing this video, I'm going to show you just kind of clicking on the lines, what happens. Okay, see what happens when I just click on the lines? I didn't click on that vertical line, and then I click to place them, but I didn't right click yet. Okay, I hit escape and they disappear. So make sure you right click and hit create. And I didn't want to create those because, as you noticed, it didn't start on my left edge as a nice datum or baseline. So the dimensioning style, let's get the overall height, and oh, sorry, I want to be in baseline still. Click on this, this, and this. Go to continue. And again, we try to avoid dimensioning to hidden lines, but I'm actually going to take right click, hit create. I'm going to take this one and put it on that side because it looks a little bit better there. Otherwise, it's going through the part, and we want to avoid dimensioning hidden lines. But you know, if I wanted to, I could say I could take these two dimensions and do the baseline, you know, here, and place them here. Create, delete the 0.75 because I already got it there. And then a nice tool, if you right click or you just kind of normal click and go right to left, you notice how it makes a green box instead of a red box. Anything that it's touching will be selected. I'm just going to hit arrange and kind of bring these to a little bit closer. And then if I'm dragging from right to left, or left to right, excuse me, I get that red box. You see how it doesn't select them? But when I go right to left, it does. So you got to be careful when you're doing that. You don't want to be selecting any drawings. And now this part is actually the incorrect part. I borrowed this from BJB. This is the inch part that we did not in 5.6, but in 5.5 when we were making the actual parts. So in 5.6, we went back and remade the loft cut where this bottom one was 1 centimeter. Notice the grid spacing is centimeters. So this isn't the best example, but I am going to show you how to change those units. So I'm going to select a lot of them because I can do that all at one time. I'm going to right click and go to new dimensioning style. In that new dimensioning style, I want to make this units centimeters. Okay, and so now you can see all those are centimeters. I'm going to control click. When I hold the control or the shift key, here's the shift key, you notice it selects all of my drawings, And then under the Format tab, normally it's all the way over here on the right, but it's kind of hard to see with my screen sometimes. We're going to use the ANSI 02 is the most recent one that I made, and so that is the centimeter. And while I'm here on the ANSI 02 with this selected, I'm going to right-click and go to just on with one of them, I'm going to edit the dimensioning style and come over to the text tool, because this is where you find the aligned. If it calls for aligned, which it doesn't specifically, on this one call for aligned, so you can go either way with it. But if it does call for aligned, your dimensions should be aligned inline, not aligned parallel, because we should be breaking that line there. Okay, so that's a setup. I've got most of my dimensions there. There is one dimension that I'm missing, and that is the depth dimension, which could be placed either on the top view or on the side view. But I should not have both, because you guessed it, that is over-dimensioning. Deleting that gives me all of my height, width, and depth dimensions that I need. This drawing is complete. Once I'm done, I'll go to Place Views, make a new sheet, and you can see I've got multiple sheets here, and I've moved on to my next sheet where I would start my next part with the base. Hit that opening existing file, and you could go and find any of your files where they were at in your P drive. Okay, here's my Lego block. We'll open that up, get it placed, hit OK, and then I could go ahead and start dimensioning on my Lego block. If your sheets aren't the right size, right-click on Sheet, Edit Sheet, should be size A, and I don't have an example of one here, but there would be a title block. Excuse me. There would be a title block around here that says ANSI large, and then we would right-click and delete on that.